If you're wondering why your company is bleeding, or if you're leaving thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table, stay tuned for this video when we go over the basics of customer acquisition versus customer retention. Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm Adam Windsor with Windsor Growth, and today we're going to talk about one of the basics in business, which is the idea of customer acquisition versus customer retention. Simply by definition, customer acquisition is the process of gaining new customers through marketing, advertising, or outreach, and customer retention is the strategies used to keep your existing customers engaged and loyal over time. Something that not very many businesses talk openly about. They'll talk internally, of course, but so many people tend to forget about the retention side of things, especially businesses that have been established for a long period of time, like your mom and pop businesses that have been around for 50, 60, 70 years, don't think very clearly when it comes to retention. A lot of them rely on the name of the business or the loyalty of their customer base. Meanwhile, their customer base is aging, a new generation is coming in, but they're not changing anything to focus on not only the retention of their existing customer base, but then when it comes to the new customer base, that younger generation, the millennials, Gen Z, etc., of what the cost of acquisition actually is. Now, why does this matter? Well, in the current dynamic in the world, period, with how oversaturated social media is, the online space in general, how outdated radio and TV ads are, the cost of marketing is rising drastically. You need to be able to push your content through all of the nonsense. You need to be able to make it so that your target audience is actually forced, in a way, to see your advertisement, to see your brand, to see your product. So what that takes typically is more money. Retention can also dramatically increase your profits. So when you look at the cost of retention, when you lose a customer that you have had forever and ever and ever, who has bought on loyalty, who has always come back, the cost of acquisition typically nukes your profit margins because you have to buy that business, right? Acquisition is the idea of buying business. Whereas with retention, you're able to hold on to a little bit more of your profit margin. You don't have to give quite as big of a discount that way, that you can hold on to them there. And then honestly, the growth of your business depends heavily on both strategies working simultaneously. So going over your pros and cons here, right? When we look at customer acquisition, some of the big pros: expands your reach and visibility, drives quick growth, opens doors to new revenue streams. Now, why this is important, especially with this next generation, is if you are taking a minimal profit, let's say, on a millennial customer, and you are in the business of appliances, or you are in the business of furniture or beds or water heaters or anything like that, really. You're selling a necessity to this customer at this generation, at this age group. If you are able to create an unforgettable experience, that individual will come back to you every time they need something. Every single time. We're creatures of habit. We enjoy being treated well. We enjoy being alluded to the fact that we're special, right? So we will continue to come back. So if the cycle of your replacement market, let's say, is every 10 years, every 10 years for probably the next 40 years of business, that person is going to come back. That person is always going to tell all of their friends as well where they shop. So you are gaining new business that way. That person is eventually going to have their own family, their friends, their children, all of them sending that business your way. That word of mouth travels. You get more and more people because with that cost of acquisition, you took that little bit of a hit, made their experience unforgettable, and now you have more and more new people coming through the door. Now, whether it's yourself or whether you have a sales team behind you to be able to follow your strategy a little bit more in depth of the acquisition, of cutting costs where you need to. The possibilities are endless, really, for the growth. Now, when you look at the cons, obviously, high cost per customer. All that means for you is that your profit margin, if it's typically, say, 40% on average, cut that in half, right? Cut it in half to that 20, because then the next time that they come in, you're able to keep it closer to that 40. When they send their friends in of that new acquisition, maybe it's not as good of a deal. Maybe it's 25, right? That you play that game, you beat your competition's pricing, and you bring that customer in. Because then when the next time comes around, oh, you guys are a little bit more expensive, but the experience last time was so great, I'm willing to pay it. And then you've got them, right? You've got that generation. Now, your strategies obviously have to evolve because you require significant ad spend and the results may be inconsistent. In my experience, when it comes to acquisition, saving that little bit of money, it's why you don't just give away the farm, right? It's a phrase that they use in sales of you just giving away the pig, sheep's, barn, everything, that you're giving everything away. No, you toss them a bit of a bone. You save them a little bit of money. You make them feel good. You still make money as a company so that if this strategy doesn't end up working, you're not at a complete loss. But it is going to start conversation. It is going to spark conversation with them, again, with their friends, family, etc. Right? When we look at retention, moving into retention is extremely important to talk about, especially for existing businesses, because you look at costs. Always, the cost of customer retention versus the cost of customer acquisition will be astronomically different. Because when you look at retention, you have a customer that has come in multiple times to buy something. Maybe they have a somewhat negative experience, right? Maybe they buy a new home worth of appliances, right? They come in, they spend $10, $15, $20, $30,000, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. And then their product gets delivered and they're busy. And a month and a half later, they call you and say, hey, the door is scuffed on my refrigerator. Right? That it's like, I was moving, I was busy, I've been a customer with you guys for a long time, but the door is dinged. Is there anything you can do? Sure, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, let me look into this. Can you send me some pictures? Blah, 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 whatever it is. You look at the model of the product. A replacement door is $400. Now, seems like a lot, right? That customer just spent $20,000, let's say. The overall profit on that deal was $3,000, $4,000. $400 for a new door, if it's $4,000, is 10% of your profit, right? In that situation, what would you do, right? The correct answer, typically, is just replace the door, right? Make them feel good. They were busy. They know that they messed up. You're able to have that conversation, and it's the way you paint the picture, too. Now, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, typically we only allot that 30 days for the return on that so we can hold the manufacturer accountable. But you've been a loyal customer to our brand. You've shopped with us previously. I know that you speak very highly of our brand with your friends and family. What we're going to do this one time just for you. Don't tell anybody, but just for you, we're going to replace that door absolutely free of charge. I'll get it on order. I'll send out one of my staff members to change that out for you. They feel like absolute royalty because you decided to not be money hungry in your business. You decided to take a very small hit, which isn't really a hit because you've been in the green with them for so long, to take that very small hit to retain that customer. And what's that water cooler conversation going to look like? Oh my God, Billy, you have no idea. I just moved into the new house. You know how chaotic it's been. The builder's been jerking me around. All the trades have been such a nightmare. I thought that I was doomed. I thought I had the worst luck in the world. And then my freezer door gets scuffed. And I don't realize until a month and a half later, I call X business and they say, you know what? We're going to do this for you because you've been such a loyal customer. I felt so good. Billy goes home, talks to his wife talks to her friends, Billy talks to his friends at the bar, and all of a sudden, that one act, that one move that you made has potentially garnished you 20 new leads. Like that. It's a very easy thing to say. You have to take it scenario by scenario, but 90% of the time, retention is the way to go, right? That LTV, that lifetime value, the referrals, like I'm saying, right? All of those are major, major pros. Now, of course, with cons, can plateau if you stop acquiring new customers. It's why they have to go in balance. Acquisition is important. You need to look at what your customer retention rates are of returning customers. Hold on to profit margin where you can, right? There's a balance to it, because even the retained customers nowadays are going to research, are going to do the price match game, are going to do all of this, et cetera, et cetera. But you need to have your ad spend for your acquisition to keep up, right? Requires very strong back-end service systems. So your sales team, your service team, all of your record keeping, you need to have a set strategy in place when you do that. That doesn't grow your base along, right? Like we've been talking about. It's crucial that you continue that grind, right? We talked about a little bit of a real world example there with buying X company, the water cooler conversation. The flip side of that, obviously, is you could do that job for Mr. and Mrs. Customer. You could take that small hit in the profit margin, and it doesn't gain you anything with them. It doesn't get you anywhere, right? You're like, okay, well, maybe the service side of things isn't going to get us anywhere. Maybe we focus more of our dollars and cents on acquisition right now, because the retention market is a little bit iffy. It's been a little bit more dicey. So we put a bit more money in. Okay, we're going to do a promo of buy 3 pieces, get 1 free, or save 20% on your entire suite, or XYZ, right? That you go through waves. So that right now you're in the market maybe of buying business. So you try to bring all of this in, you get that next generation. And then once you have that generation somewhat down with a loyalty side of things, you can coast for a bit. You can coast for that 5-10 years. You put more money into the service side. You put more money into retention. You don't necessarily worry about the acquisition market as heavily, right? Because your dollars and cents overall within the company are good. You have to play that bit of ping pong when it comes to acquisition versus retention, right? When to use each. New business, obviously, focus on acquisition. Established business, prioritize retention. Always prioritize retention, because the cost is cheaper. If you have existing clients, do not lose them. If you get somebody closed on a deal, do not lose them ever, right? The best practice overall right here is to just build a system that turns acquisition into retention. It is that flywheel model, right? It's acquisition and then retention. It's never one or the other. That's one thing that a lot of businesses struggle with. A lot of businesses get wrong, is that they'll go all in on one and not worry about the other. It's both, because once you acquire that business, you need to retain it, right? You need to hold on to that. It's the whole idea of the third generational curse with family businesses. It's that first generation focuses heavily on acquisition. Second generation focuses heavily on retention. The third generation coasts on the name of the business. Can't do that, because what ends up happening is that when that third generation coasts, your retention drops, and then you don't have the money from your retention to invest in new acquisition. So the business dies. Again, it's always that third generation curse that the business dies with that third person, right? Where's your business stronger today? That's the number one takeaway here, right? Are you stronger in acquisition? Or are you stronger in retention? Are you really good at grabbing new people, but you struggle a bit to hold on to existing customers? Okay, well, let's slow down with the giveaways and whatnot in the acquisition side of things, and let's focus more on the service of our business. So we have existing clientele. Yeah, no problem. You know what? You've been with us for so long. we're going to offer you a 10% discount next month on your goods and services that you purchase from us, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, just as a thank you for choosing our business continuously throughout your life. Oh, thank you so much. That means so much. Money's tight right now with the current state of the economy. I'm so happy to have that savings. Water cooler conversation, free advertising, new acquisition coming in through the door that you don't even have to spend money on to bring that in. Oh, I came in, my mom bought from you guys and she said that you really took care of her, so I wanted to come in and see what you were all about. Fantastic. Let me show you around the store. Would you like coffee? Would you like water? Let's have a conversation, right? Plan as much as you can, right? When it comes to the retention versus acquisition, right? If you are brand new to business, obviously you're all in on acquisition because you have no clients to retain. So it's not something you really have to worry about. If you're in a middle stage of business, let's say you do $1.5 million to 2 million annually, well, you should focus a little bit on retention because you have existing clientele, but your focus should still probably primarily be on acquisition. Look at other companies in your same field, in your same industry, and see generally what their numbers are annually. You can kind of forecast this. You can see this. Certain reports are public. You can figure it out to a degree. And if they're roughly twice your size, okay, we still need to focus on acquisition. We need to get more and more clientele coming through the door. Once you get to be about their size and you have existing clientele, okay, we can slow down a bit on the acquisition. We don't have to chase that loss quite as hard. We can focus quite a bit on the retention of our business. Don't totally give up on acquisition, but if before you were at an 80-20 split, well, let's ease it back to a 60-40 or even a 50-50 split, right? If you're noticing that, oh, we're losing existing clients because of XYZ and you're able to track that through your metrics, okay, let's ease off of the acquisition a little bit more and put about 60 into our retention and 40 into our acquisition, right? Because holding on to that customer loyalty is crucial. At the end of the day, finding the balance between retention and acquisition is what's going to save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in advertising. It's going to save you countless headaches and countless fights with your customer base. You just have to have the strategy in place. If you are a business that's struggling, reach out to me directly. Go through the link in my bio into my Discord. Plan a meeting with me one-on-one. Let's talk about it. This has been Adam with Windsor Growth. We'll catch you in the next one.